Alright, welcome to Nomad the Reader, where we discuss a book and shit. So, we're now in 2025, so I thought it would be a good idea to reflect a bit on the book that I read this year, or at least like just present them, during 2024, and also talk about the book that I will be reading in 2025. So my goal this year is to read 10 books. Uh, Last year I read like five, six. Some bigger than others and all. Mainly nonfiction. So this year, like it will be like a mix of that. I think I think it's a good idea like to read nonfiction. Like I think I find more value in that now. I think like it's explained on the way of really like conveying ideas, like without explicitly saying, oh yeah, this is what should be and all. Because human, we learn with stories, and also I think I like to go back to it, and I have a bunch of books that I have. So so let's start. So the first book with which I started 2024. I actually started it in 2023, according to Goodreads. So it's a French book actually. De la servitude volontaire de l'Afrique, ou comment l'Afrique se rend elle-même esclave des autres puissances. So basically, it's the voluntary servitude of Africa, or how Africa is making itself a slave from other nations. So it's a book about you can see like basically like Africa and all, and like you can see like its problem, stuff like that. When I read this book, I felt like it really felt like a slap in the face, a cold shower. Uh, I'm planning to make a proper video about this, but sometimes I'm wondering, should I make this in English or in French? Because the book is in French, and this, I think like the people to whom I should speak about this are mainly in the francophone world. But then again, I don't know, because I'm not sure about this one, if how I'll approach this, but it was an amazing book. I think every African, black people should read it, even like other. But it's really a book that the public, how do you say that in English? The target audience is mainly like Africans. So I think it's relevant, especially like in the year that we are living in. And basically, I discovered this book on a YouTube channel uh, where they talk mainly about subject about Africa and all. Like it really helped me like understanding um, like some of the thing that I saw, or like even sometimes my family, all that stuff. So that was the first book that I've read. Second book was what was it? I think it was this one, yeah, Troubled. Troubled. So I spoke about this book on this channel already. So if you want to learn more about this book, I suggest you to go and watch the video that I made. But essentially, it's a memoir by Rob Henderson. So Rob Henderson is I always forget what he is, but I think he's a social psychologist. I know that definitely like he's a social psychologist. Like he did a PhD, and basically he talk a bit like about his life, foster care, like family, and like the importance of really like having like a stable family. Uh, he also explained its idea about luxury belief. Sorry, luxury belief. So yeah, definitely check the video. I explain it in more detail in a more coherent manner. So yeah, that's for the second book. The third book was another French book. Et si l'Afrique refusait le développement? What if Africa refused development? So basically, the author Axelle Kabou, and also like I made a video about this, but another channel. This one is in mainly in French. So right now I'm a bit wondering like how in which language like made these videos because I'm reading French book and English book, and when I'm reviewing something or talking about something, I want like the most people who would be interested in that like to actually be able like to find it. So yeah, that's another problem, like I said. But yeah, essentially, the author talks about development because Africa is a continent that has not been developed in the sense of industrialization. So she talks about like what if it would refuse development, and basically it's more a catchy title, but like she says that like it's something that African in like in vast majority refuse, uh, whether it's explicitly or implicitly due to like the way that like we do things like in terms of like tradition, customs, and all that stuff. It's the kind of thing that actually prevents us, according to her, to really industrialize and like solve like the major problem. So it's a book that was written 30 years ago, and I think it's still like really relevant today. And obviously, like I'm not living in Africa, so I have a certain distance. But I think from what I saw when I went there, when I talked to people and all, I think it's definitely relevant. Something that I see. So yeah, it's the kind of book that I think that most, once again, Africans should read because like it makes you really, question things. Like you ask yourself some question and like put things in perspective. And also, I mean, like if you're an African and you're thinking about reading this book, I think it's a must. I'm not sure if there's an English version, but type Axelle Kabou on Google, find her book. Maybe it's there. I'm not sure, but this is the one. But, perhaps I'll put like more details in the description in case somebody wants to read it. The fourth book was The Art of a Cheetah by Magatte. So that's once again, it's another book about Africa. So this year, like 3 books about Africa. People with different perspective. I think like she's the one who has like the most different. Um, Personally, I think I would agree more with the two others, but she's still an interesting read. So basically, Magatte is she's somebody that I discovered on the podcast of Jordan Peterson. Was really surprised like to see somebody speak like this about Africa, and not in a manner that was uh, victimizing. There was no. Oh no, we have been colonized, and it's because of European that we are in this situation. No, like it was really, like ownership, and we're gonna provide solution, and blah, blah. She has a critic of socialism. She think it's the reason why Africa is in its position today. Uh, Personally, I don't know about it enough to have like a proper opinion, but yeah, basically, in this book, she talks about African poverty and all. She also It's also a bit a memoir, I would say, because she talks about her life, like from sort of birth to like sort of now. Um, so yeah, like she has accomplished a lot. I think she's a really type of person. People like she strives to be. Like she's doing a lot of things, and she's still like planning on doing things. Uh, I think she has a plan on. I think yeah, her plan is like startup city in Africa. I don't exactly know where. I think she has like some country that she has in mind. Um, so I'm looking forward to see like if it's gonna work out or not. I hope it will. Uh, but yeah, once again, like really interesting book. Um, and yeah, a great discovery. So that was the fourth and the fifth book. This is the book that I probably highlighted the most. The book that I annotated the most, and I started perhaps at like two-third of the book to do that. It's a huge book. Yeah, really huge book. Well, that but for me like it was because it was long. It took me a while. So the righteous mind, the righteous mind. Why good people are divided by religion and politics, by Jonathan Haidt. Jonathan Haidt is an author that I really like. I would say it's the second book by him that I'm reading, and I'm probably gonna read his other book because like it's that interesting. Uh, so Jonathan Haidt is a social psychologist. This one I'm sure. So yeah, a social psychologist. Ah, need to switch position. But yeah, he's a social psychologist, and basically in this book, like he's trying to understand. He started his book trying to understand why. Uh, you could say like why conservative are the way that they are. He was trying like to really like understand like the morality in general and try like to I guess sort of help Democrat uh, win elections, stuff like that. Because he's a Democrat. Well, at least he identified as one before. Now he's more, you could say like neutral, non-partisan. Um, so in this book, there's so many things in this book that are interesting. But you know, like he talks about like the difference between conservative and liberal, like especially like in America, and how they are different, like how they see things, like in terms of like morality. Like he explained that apparently, like according to him, like you know, sometimes we talk about moral relativism. You know, oh yeah, like everybody has their different morals and all, um, but you know, we're all human. Like we're all built sort of the same. For sure, like there are different custom in different places, but essentially, like you could say, like the hardware is the same, right? We're all built like the same. So according to him, basically, there's not just like one morality. Like there's like multiple taste bud, as he says. So like in there's five. Like I don't exactly remember the five of them, but there's five taste bud in which in different contexts people will more identify with uh, and like value basically. So he says that like apparently like conservative like they have like all of the taste bud, they use all of them, but liberals they will tend more to use only two of them. So I think it's not necessarily like a way like to denigrate, because you know like you we could think oh yeah the liberals are using one two taste bud and the conservative are using them also. They're more complete human or stuff like that. I don't think that's the point of the book. Like he's really like you know trying to list and explain things and try like to advise like liberals to also try to use all of them because like it's sometimes like it can become a problem. I think like one of them was like about authority. You know, authority is one of the um, like the taste bud, like the value, like in the moral, the five or six morality that I talked about, and authority, and generally conservative, like they will value authority. They will think like it's an important thing, like to have like a hierarchy, like authority, all that stuff, right? But liberals it's generally what you will hear is, oh no, there should not be authority. Authority is bad. Everybody should be free. We're all equal on the same level, and we should all make decision at the same time, and etc. etc. And I think in certain case, like, yeah, it's definitely like a good thing, but I think that most people, like, generally, like the way things work, like there will be like a hierarchy. There will be some authority. It's like that at work, even though like it's perhaps like less strict than you could say, like, I don't know, 50 years ago, right? There is authority, and it's something that should be valued in a way. But there's a bunch of other example. Those who like that dynamic about in group preference, like how much human are tribal in nature. Uh, that's, to be honest, it's a bit scary, but I think it's also interesting. I think it's the kind of thing that the fact that we know is already progress enough. So now it's like, okay, how do we go about it? Now that we know that, how do we go about it to like have a good society or whatever, right? Whatever the goal is. So yeah, really interesting author. Uh, and also should be making a video about it with all the notes that I took. Like, it gave me like a bunch of ideas for other videos. So the plan would be like to plan them all. And the last bonus of 2024, I haven't finished completely. It's really a book that I've read like chapters here and there. It's another French book, and I should make a video about this because this guy, I think, is just like so interesting. So he was able like to combine like two different fields, you could say, fields: manga, manga, and philosophy. I always knew that there was like some philosophy in manga, but I didn't know enough about philosophy to really understand the depth of it in the manga. And this guy, is a philosophy teacher. Uh, Basically calls himself Gatsu Sensei. It's another French book. He talks about, basically he dissects some like some of the most popular manga anime, and he explained the philosophy behind it, underneath it. uh, and goddamn, this is the type of book that makes me want to read philosophy. I think this year, like, I got even more interest in philosophy. I'd, I don't have like many. I have like tiny books about like philosophy. I'm planning to read more this year, but like, I've always loved manga. Now I read more. I need definite. I read less manga because there's just so many of them, and But I'm trying to get bored. I'm trying to get back into it. Like, I bought like two mangas this last week. But this book, yeah, fucking amazing. Like, he talks about like I said, like the main manga through a philosophy perspective, like Death Note, classic. There's Chainsaw Man, One Punch Man, Attack on Titan, Monster, more of a seinen, but yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach. I think he also spoke about, like, yeah, there's One Piece. I don't see Naruto in there, but Full Metal Alchemists. So yeah, if you're, I think that automatically, if you're an anime fan and you are French, if you can read French, you'll love this book. You will love this book, even though if you're not interested in philosophy, I think it's gonna be like an interesting part. So these were the book of 2024. It's already been, I'm already like at 20 minutes, so I think I'm gonna cut that, and I'm gonna, yeah, leave on that, and then on another video I'll talk about the book I'm planning to read on 2025 this year. All right, thank you very much for listening. I hope it was not too boring. video, but yeah, I think it's it's a good thing to do. It's also a reminder for myself um, of what I did, in terms of reading, which is not much, but I'm like the goal is really like to read more, uh, get more out of books, and yeah. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.